All right, what is going on, guys? It's Caleb here, and I wanted to make a quick video on the post that I made today, and really just one specific part of that post, which is a question, and that question is, what is the number one skill that you could develop as a person? And if you're an entrepreneur and you're watching this video, what's the number one skill that you could develop that would make the biggest impact on your business? You see, this is a question that I ask myself so many times because I'm a big advocate of being able to focus on one thing and get really, really good at it. And, I've naturally never been a salesperson. I've never been even a marketer. And so I really started to think about, what is it that I am naturally good at and a skill that I truly want to develop. And when you're in business, you think about the main things, right? You have marketing, you have sales, you have management, operations, numbers, finances, and none of that really resonated with me. And I was reading this book called Eat That Frog. And this is one of the best books, even if you're not an entrepreneur and you're looking to increase your productivity. I highly recommend this book by Brian Tracy. But in this book, it's all about really prioritizing your life. Right, I'm 23, and a lot of my viewers, if you're watching this, you're most likely in your 20s as well. And when we're young, there's a lot of things to do, right? And there's a lot of things that may seem important, right? You got to go to that dinner with your family, or you got to go dinner with your friends, or you got to run this errand for your friend or yourself. And there's so many things in a day that you have to do, and so it's not reasonable for you to take this whole to-do list and just go from top to bottom, right? And not prioritize anything. Just go top to bottom. I'm going to finish this, then I'm going to do this, then I'm going to do that, then I'm going to do this. It's not realistic, and you're going to burn out by doing that. So this book talks about, right, eating that frog. Eat the damn frog. And the frog is the number one thing that you should be doing. But when you wake up, you look at it, you're like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And you do the easier thing, right? And so when you wake up first thing in the morning, that's when you have the most power. That's when you have the least amount of distractions. And so that's when you have the willpower, right? You won't have that same willpower at any point in the day, except for when you wake up. And he talks about using that power, right? Using that energy that you have first thing in the morning to tackle your biggest thing, your biggest frog, and to eat that frog. And it's taught me so many things on life, and life in general, and business. And it's led me to prioritize what's important in my life. And it's not just about business. He tells you to take out a piece of paper, write down, these 5 buckets. You have your physical, you have your mental, you have your emotional, you have your spiritual, then you have your career, or your business. And he asks you to look at these buckets and determine what are the three biggest things that you want to accomplish in those buckets. All right, because there's so many things that you want to get done in business. There's so many things that you want to get done with your relationships. There's so many things that you want to get done in your physical. But you want to ask yourself, what's the most important thing that I want to accomplish in this area of my life? And that's such a powerful question, because if you really sit down and reflect and stay aligned with that focus, with that priority, that's your 80-20. That's what's going to get you the biggest return and determine the quality of your life, right? Our life is made out of those buckets. And so if you could focus on the most important things, not what you enjoy, not what you like, but what truly, truly matters. Right? And there's another question that he pulls from this, which is the topic of this video, which is, what's the number one skill that you could develop? That if you developed as a person, whether you're an entrepreneur or you're working at a corporate or you have a career, what's the number one skill that you could develop that if you did the best way possible, would lead to the biggest impact? And it's such a powerful question. And I've struggled with this. I was like, it's not sales for me. It's not marketing for me. So what is it that I want to focus on? And the number one skill for me that I thought about and I decided to commit to is emotional mastery. Emotional mastery, right? So all my life, if you guys know, you guys can watch my old YouTube videos from me in high school. I used to struggle a lot with insecurity. I used to struggle a lot with anxiety. I used to struggle so much with procrastination and just not feeling myself, negative emotions. And I was a mess. I couldn't wake up in the morning. I was skipping school. I was doing a lot of bad habits. And I look back now in my life and I realize that, I've been able to make a complete 180. I'm not the person that I was back in high school. And when I think about it, it was because I worked on this skill of mastering my emotions, and I'm nowhere close to getting to that point. And it's a thing that I'm working on every single day. But if you really think about it in life and in business especially, right? And I talk a lot about mitigating your downsides, right? Mitigating your downsides. And as an entrepreneur, or if you're going after something, you're looking to accomplish something outside of business, what's the number one thing? And I really thought about this, and the number one thing that could lead to failure, right? Let's put that in quotes, would be you quitting. All right, it would be you quitting. And what would lead to you quitting? Really ask yourself that question. And if you think about it, it's gonna be not being able to manage your negative emotions, right? If your emotions get the best of you, you'll end up wanting to quit, you'll lose motivation, right? You'll lose focus, you'll give up, you'll have too much fear to get out of the situation, and you may quit. You see, like in life in general, in my life in general, when I look back, I can see all the fears that are holding me back, the insecurities that are holding me back, the whatever it might be, the procrastination, the resistance. And these are the downsides, these are the downfalls for most people. And if you learn to overcome your fears, if you can learn to come in terms with your fears and befriend your fears, right, or your insecurities, these are the things that are going to lead to the quality of your life and you being able to live your best life. And that's what I realized is that, number one skill that I could develop, I thought about it could be sales, it could be marketing, but, what's not only to have the best impact in business, but in my life in general, and my physical, and my emotional, my spiritual, my family. It's me being able to show up and be in control of my emotions, understand why I feel my emotions, instead of hiding from my emotions and letting my emotions of fear and insecurity and anxiety and anger take the best of me and disable me from being the best son, from being the best husband, from being the best boyfriend, from being the best brother, from being the best CEO. That's what's holding me back. And so I need to work on this skill. As a leader, my emotional intelligence is important. It's the number one skill that I want to focus on. And I don't think it's a skill that most people talk about, if at all. As entrepreneurs in this space, I barely see it. But yeah, I think it's the most important thing. I think it's an issue, a problem that most of us don't even know we may have. And we think of this thing as, something that's like outlandish or, not something that's tactical as sales, right? You can learn about sales, you can get better at sales, you take more sales calls, you become better. But how do you become better at managing your emotions? But I'm here to say that after working on it for 3 years, having mentors, having a coach, Ava, if you're watching this, you're amazing. But having guidance, it's just like any other skill. You need a mentor. You need to write books. You need the right knowledge. You need the right implementation. You need to take massive action. You need to stay consistent. And then boom, you have the result. All right, you develop the skill. And this is a skill that compounds. Think about it. At the age of 20, if you guys are in your early 20s, if I'm 23 and we work on this for 5-7 years, by the age of 30, imagine you working every single day for an hour on mastering your emotions. What would life look like at the age of 30? What would the quality of your relationships look like at the age of 30? What would the quality of your life, right? You showing up. How would you show up as a leader? right? It's all, and I thought about this, it's mitigating your downsides. Your downsides are gonna be your emotions at some point, whether you're in business or not. So this has been something I've committed to as a number one skill, and when I really figured this out, for me it was clarity in what I am going to commit to and what's truly important in my life. I highly recommend that you guys read this. Okay, Eat That Frog. Make sure you guys read it, and if you guys have any questions or need help with this kind of work, that's what I'm here for. And if you watched the entire video, thanks for watching the video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye.